Warm in here. Time for what's hot right now. We'll talk about some stories that have us all talking.
Today we're joined by Barb Bartlein from the People Pro and Jeff Wagner back with us. Our I-team hit the front lines on the mean streets of Milwaukee. More than 455 people have been shot in Milwaukee so far this year. 89 have been killed, most of them gunned down in the streets. Is Milwaukee one of the most dangerous cities in the country?
Well, numbers don't lie. You know, Forbes magazine came out with stuff last week. Statistically, the answer is yes. Now, the caveat to that is there are parts of the city of Milwaukee that are extremely safe. The immediate downtown area, the east side, you know, there's all sorts of areas that are safe. The problem, though, is the areas of Milwaukee that are dangerous are extremely dangerous, and they've gotten more so after the last decade.
And I think we have to look at what we're going to do, Jeff. I mean, the cities across the country are struggling with this, and people are trying to come up with solutions. We talked last week about this buyback program some people are proposing. The mayor has authorized more policemen on the street. What else can we do? Maybe it's time for doing what New York has done, and that is stop and frisk policy in that one area of the city or in certain areas. We need to do something.
You know, the one thing that report didn't touch on last night that I think is a valid point is the parts of the city that are dangerous are most dangerous to people who engage in illegal activity. If you've got your nose clean in the city of Milwaukee, you've got a really good chance of getting through life without a problem.
I would say, though, it does taint the city, because if you talk to people in the suburbs, you know, they'll say, I'm not going down there. It's too dangerous. But that's an incorrect mentality. No, I understand
that.
It's the bad
guys
I understand that, but I'm saying,
getting hurt.
Well,
I'm saying it taints the image.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll tell you, look, I mean, I grew up around here, and the truth is, there were always parts of the city that you wouldn't go to late at night. The one thing is now that there's parts of the city that I'm not sure that it would be smart to go through day or night. And I hate to say that, I really do. See, I'm kind of with you, Barb. I think part of it, I think you've got to flood some of these high crime areas with police officers. I appreciate that you've got an economic problem. You've got, you know, the drug houses. You've got all sorts of vacancies. You've got that other thing that you've got to deal with as well. And I don't have the answers for that. But it is unfortunate to see what's going on in at least certain parts of the city.
And you feel bad for people living in those areas that are just trying to make it day to day and they're not involved.
They're victims too.
Right.
They're victims.
But I guess the message is Milwaukee dangerous? The answer is in certain parts, yeah. But like I say, I mean, I go downtown on a regular basis. I go on the east side on a regular basis. I go on the northwest side on a regular basis. I don't feel safe. If you stay out of a couple of those high crime areas, your chance of being a crime victim is very, very minimal. And that's part of the message that needs to get out.
And even more minimal if you're not involved in crime in the first place. All right, coming up next, we'll get another check on the cold forecast. We'll also reveal viewer's choice today.
The action
of the day.
Again, we're joined by Barb Bartlein and Jeff Wagner from 620 WTMJ. All right, more than 1 million cell phones are stolen each year. Criminals can snatch a phone right out of your hands. In some cases, they even beat victims to get the phones. Attorneys general from 31 states are demanding action. They want cell phone makers to install anti-theft technology. This is something that's part of the new iPhone. What do you think? Is this going to help?
I don't think it can hurt. You know, we were talking about crime. Why wouldn't you do something that has the potential to decrease crime? How many cell phones are stolen every year? A lot. Now, I realize this is a revenue source for the cell phone manufacturers. I mean, if they're stolen or they're lost, they sell more cell phones. But I think this is a no-brainer.
I guess the flip side of that, Barb, and I mean, I don't have an issue with this one way or the other, but I guess the flip side is that this is going to, let's assume for the sake of argument, it adds to the cost, maybe 10, 15 bucks. Would you be willing to pay, or would people be willing to pay an extra $10 to $15 to have this feature?
I think they would. I know I would. I mean, word would get out there that stealing cell phones isn't that lucrative, and you know, I would like it if I don't get knocked down to the sidewalk and somebody grabbing my phone.
You know, I'm holding one of those phones in my hand right now that can do this, and it didn't cost any more than a regular phone. So they can do it with software.
And a lot of people already pay for insurance on their phone. You know, in case they drop it or the kid throws it in the toilet.
Okay, you guys have me convinced. Put it in there.
All right.
It won't help those of us that do have them go down the toilets, though.
It's nice to know that if someone ever gets his phone off of me, it's just a piece of plastic and glass to them. It can do no good because they can't get into it.
It is time for our lightning round. Journalists encouraged to share Olympic pictures on social media, but you can't share video. What about Olympians who take pictures and video? Are they going to get in trouble for doing this?
I hope not.
They shouldn't. I mean, what if you want to send something to your mom? It's you know, you've already competed. It's not on. It hasn't aired yet, but she wants to see right away or whatever.
Well, right. I mean, here's the truth. I understand companies like NBC pay a ton of money for rights fees, but this is the truth. If some Olympian puts a video up of a practice thing, that doesn't mean I'm not going to watch the speed skating thing on NBC. It's just not. I think sometimes you get just too compulsive about this, and certainly for non-commercial uses for the participants, let them do it. It's their once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I'd be really, really surprised if we don't see amateur video on the web as a part of the Olympics. I think this is Pandora's box. And I get it too, Jeff. You know, people are paying money to have the right to broadcast this, but I think there's going to be a lot of amateur video floating around.
Everyone.
I don't think
There's
they can
no
stop it.
Right. See, and if anything, I think this is sometimes why the companies that are trying to enforce this are short-sighted, because it makes you want to watch it. Hey, there was something really cool. Okay, they're showing X event on tape delay. There was something really cool that happened. Here, I'm going to want to tune in and see it. Again, just because there's a grainy video up doesn't mean I'm not going to watch the real event.
Can we all agree on a ban on Olympic selfies?
No, it depends who it is.
Barb.
Okay. Got to think that one through.
All right, the What's Hot discussion will continue online. You can find that page at tmj4.com/hot. Let us know what you think about Olympic selfies.
Coming up, Storm Team forecaster